Thank you for joining us. I'm Ben Cimino in for Ed tonight.
And I'm Heather Unruh. Bystanders jumping in to save an elderly woman after she drove right into a local pond. Our John Atwater is live at the scene. John. Commitment 2016 now. Fresh poll numbers out today giving Hillary Clinton a modest lead over Donald Trump in the state of New Hampshire. A WBUR Mass Inc. poll out this morning shows Clinton with a 41 to 38% lead over her rival. A major mistake uncovered at a Worcester hospital. A kidney removed from the wrong patient. So the bottom line is, if you want to keep track of your heart rate, you might want to splurge for a chest strap, or at least bear in mind that the numbers on your wrist may be offbeat. A Needham woman with Down syndrome retires from her job at McDonald's after 32 years. And new tonight at 6, the much-beloved worker got an unexpected and very touching send-off. New at 5, a food service worker at Worcester Polytechnic Institute is behind bars accused of telling her therapist she wanted to shoot up and bomb the campus. News at 5's Nicole Estefan is live in Worcester tonight, where that worker faced a judge today. New developments in that deadly water slide accident. 2 women who were riding the world's tallest slide with a young boy when he was killed are now speaking out. In Colorado, medical marijuana has been around and legal for many years now, and we take you there now for a hint of what's to come here at home. It's a stunning sight. Rows of green, federally banned plants growing abundantly in the mile-high city. Grow farms hidden in nondescript warehouses for security. This is medical-grade marijuana. Nothing like you've ever read about or experimented with. It's a lot weaker, but Hermine is still drifting to our south, giving us some soggy weather today, Hart.
Yeah, it's been off and on showery here or there, and it's starting to feel a little more tropical and a little more humid again. And that's going to happen.
Felt like fall yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a cool rain.
Yeah.
Now it's getting muggy and all that.
2 Lawrence men have been sentenced to prison now after pleading guilty to distributing fentanyl. Israel Garcia and Maximo Brito Tejada accused of dealing drugs in Massachusetts and in southern New Hampshire, and later selling drugs to undercover officers. More than half of drug overdose deaths last year in both states were linked to fentanyl.
Tonight, exclusively on 5, Heather is breaking an important development in Alzheimer's disease.
This is an entirely new theory that Alzheimer's is really a diabetes of the brain. Now, we don't usually report on drug studies this early, but this drug had such rapid, significant improvements for patients. We wanted you to know what's coming down the pipeline. The drug, known as T3D959, is completely different than anything else on the market or being investigated to treat Alzheimer's disease.
A man after a fly ball creates, shall we say, quite a mess.
I think we shall. The attempt worth an instant replay, too. Next on News at 5 at 4:30. Stay with us. This was a phase 1 safety trial involving 20 patients. 10 had the new procedure, 10 the reconstruction involving the grafting. All healed very well. A larger phase 2 trial is now getting underway, and Children's is recruiting patients ages 14 to 35. Early results suggest the repaired ACL may work as well as a reconstructed one, hopefully speeding recovery and reducing the risk of arthritis. Sally's a Vineyard native, and she is the daughter of the island's first lady of song.
We can never know about the days to come.
Her songs have touched millions. Carly Simon, the legendary singer-songwriter, is known for her seductive voice and passionate lyrics. What's less known about her is how her journey began.
I would say that my family has been given the gift of music, and that we all take to music because music is something that we can do so much more easily than we can, in the reading department.
Reading was a challenge for Carly.
I'm glad you brought these out. I haven't seen these books in a long time.
And for the 2 children she had with James Taylor, Sally and Ben. They are all dyslexic. Carly says her dyslexia was complicated because she also stammered as a child.
It wasn't until my mother taught me how to give words rhythm that I began to be able to speak more fluently. So there was one time at the table where I was saying, "Pass the butter," and I couldn't get the P out. And my mother said, "Try to sing it, or try to stamp your hand on your knee with the rhythm of the word. will you please pass the butter? And once I thought of it like a song, it could be any kind of song at all. Please pass the butter.
Song became her lifeline that she ultimately passed on to her children.
Split decisions and wasted time and emptiness. If we split up, is that best?
Daughter Sally Taylor's now a grown woman and talented musician in her own right.
When I got diagnosed with dyslexia and I came home and my mom greeted me at the door and I had this diagnosis in my hand and I handed it to her thinking, okay, this is sort of the end of my belonging, the end of my fitting in. And my mom's like, oh, thank God. You know, congratulations. Now, you know, it's clear that you're part of the family.
A diagnosis always seems to me that it's along with some bad news. It doesn't seem as, it's not a diagnosis as much as it is putting the label on something that wasn't so clear before.
What's clear today is love, support, and music was medicinal in their home. They had a soundtrack for every bedtime story.
Oh, look, it's me, I'm Betty the Bunny. Oh, look, it's me, I'm Betty the Bunny. And I am a rabbit, and I'm in the habit of eating carrots when I'm hungry. Oh, look, it's me, I'm Betty the Bunny.
Just an amazing story of how they handled this, but in addition to singing, they had this game they played.
They had this game, and it's called Essences, and it makes you think in terms of metaphors. So if I tell you, I'm thinking of a person, and you try to guess who that person is by asking me, if that person was a plant, what would they be? If that person was a fruit, what would they be?
You're always thinking in metaphors. So you have a person in mind.
I have a person in mind for you.
And I would say, okay, so if this person were a car, what kind of car would this person be?
1969 Chevy.
I get how this game works. I'm going to say Peter Mahegan.
You guessed it. That's right.
I was afraid to look at myself for the first, 3 days. Across the street here.
How are you?
Thomas Manning isn't shy about why he wanted to be the first.
The reason why I wanted that transplant is because they amputated mine. Why? Because they took mine and I want it back. That's all.
4 years after doctors amputated his penis due to a traumatic accident and cancer, he got his wish.
You look down and say, welcome back.
Oh, yeah, I did. Don't worry, buddy. It's just you and me now.
He's funny, candid, and determined to break the stigma surrounding genital trauma. He wants to reach wounded vets, get them to see they too might get a second chance.
You take an 18, 20, 22-year-old guy, 25-year-old guy, and you tell me, I'm sorry, buddy, it's gone. You're going to have nothing. You just think I'm never going to go out on a date again. No one's going to want me. No one's going to think I'm attractive again. I can't have sex again. Can't do this again. Can't do that again. When you're 18 to 25 and you take that away from a kid, you take every chance in life that he has.
Manning says his biggest fear pre-transplant was the pain. Could he handle it? To his relief,
I have felt no pain at all, and I don't know why.
So you're not on any pain medication? Nothing.
No pain at all, and I don't know why. And I don't ask for any drugs or anything.
Just an antibiotic and anti-rejection drugs he'll need for life.
In a couple of weeks, I'll be out of here.
Thomas Manning is hoping that his openness and this groundbreaking surgery will help others. In his case, doctors had to amputate following an accident and then the discovery of cancer. Soon, he's hoping transplants like this can be another option to help wounded warriors. Stephanie Corliss was an active teenager.
I mean, I danced for several years, played basketball.
But by age 14, she was changing fast with unexplained weight gain.
I was never like a homebody that would sit still.
And no reason to be gaining 30 pounds without any explanation in 6 months' time.
No.
And extreme fatigue.
It was draining. I just could not get out of bed in the morning.
You definitely do look tired.
That just kind of shows how I felt.
She knew she didn't feel well, but
I didn't know that it wasn't normal to be tired.
Instead of tests, her doctor ordered therapy.
She said that I was a closet eater, so she sent me because I had gained so much weight.
It was the therapist who correctly suspected hypothyroidism, which causes the body's system to slow down.
I was told, you'll just have to take a pill for the rest of your life. You should start to feel normal.
Did you? Not even close. For 14 years, she fought that fatigue and weight gain.
So we just kept increasing the medication, and I still wasn't feeling great.
By age 26, she'd had enough. Stephanie demanded to meet again with her doctor.
And he's like, I don't know what to tell you, Stephanie, but, you know, something's not working here. And he's like, Stephanie, I think you just need to admit that you're overweight and lazy.
That was your tipping point.
Yep. I will never forget him looking me straight in the eyes and saying that. And I said, well, I really feel like you're wrong, and I'm going to go seek a second opinion.
A specialist at Mass General who listened.
He asked me to describe all my symptoms to him. And he said, I think your thyroid is either shriveled up and dead, or you have thyroid cancer.
A biopsy confirmed. Stage 4 papillary thyroid cancer, likely growing for 10 years.
I had 50 lymph nodes removed. 33 of them were cancerous.
Her first reaction wasn't fear.
I was relieved that somebody knows what it is. Somebody has pinpointed what the problem is.
You had an answer.
Yeah, and I had not had an answer in 14 years.
You know your body best, Stephanie says. Don't be afraid to ask for a second opinion. If you didn't know better, you'd think little Matthews Wallen was just like every other kid his age, trying to outdo his sister Lucy. For Mom and Dad, it's a welcome sight. A far cry from 2 years ago, when his parents first noticed something seemed off.
We thought he was teething, you know, and then one weekend he stopped sitting up eating or drinking.
And the bad news kept coming.
I can point them here with my little arrow. Those bright spots are all abnormal.
Everything that's highlighted here is an indication that there are active cancer cells.
But there was one bright spot, says pediatric oncologist Lisa Diller.
Generally speaking, before the antibody, the 3-year likelihood of being alive and not having any neuroblastoma was about 45%, and with the antibody, it's about 65%.
The antibody is a pediatric immunotherapy treatment, fast-tracked in an unusual move by the FDA. A 20% better chance Matthew's cancer won't come back.
You know, these kids have toxic side effects. You may have noticed that Matthew has a hearing aid. He has permanent hearing loss from chemotherapy, so they needed another option. They needed something to boost the chance.
When Jessica Larson was hospitalized for weeks because of a sleep disorder, her dad felt helpless.
That's very frightening.
It was, and watching her suffer that way
was more than he could take. Since Jessica couldn't tolerate the side effects from sleep medications, Dr. Michael Larson used his mechanical engineering PhD from MIT to create a natural way to get results.
When people say I couldn't sleep because my brain was racing, there's a lot of truth to that.
Larson invented a high-tech headband called Sleep Shepherd that you put on at bedtime and wear all night.
Lights out.
Binaural beats, hypnotic sounding, often used for meditation. Synced to an app, it tracks how you go in and out of deep sleep and scores each night's sleep.
Right now, the Sleep Shepherd is about $150. It's available online, but as an out-of-pocket expense.